The acoustics in this building carry your conversation further than you realize. The program will proceed as printed. Now, you are understanding? For the posting of the colors by the GSU Tiger Battalion, Army ROTC, and singing of Lift Every Voice and Sing, and the Star Spangled Banner. After that, we will have the invocation by Reverend Julius Sumler, pastor of the New Rocky Valley Baptist Church.
Okay, I'm coming.
Shall we pray? Eternal and Almighty God, we are so thankful that we gathered here today in gratitude on this Founders Day as we recognize that spirit of generosity upon which this institution was founded. We say thank you. Today we celebrate measured time with immeasurable dreams. We say thank you. We thank you for President Rick Gallo and for this team. We thank you for this student body, and we thank you for our speaker on this great and faithful day. We ask just now that you will continue to bless us and keep us in your every care. And we ask it all in your name, even the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
You may be seated. At this time, I would like to acknowledge the following persons who are with us here today, and I would ask that you withhold your applause until the end. The President's Cabinet, Dr. Ellen Smiley, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Mr. Mark Newman, Vice President for Advancement, Research, and Economic Development, Mr. Leon Sanders, Vice President for Finance and Administration, Dr. David Ponton, Vice President for Student Affairs, Mr. Mark Lamel, Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Paul Bryant, Director of Athletics, and Dr. Sagai Emmanuel, Faculty Senate President. Would you please give them a round of applause? We would also like to recognize if the mayor or any of the members of the city council or other elected officials are here. I'd ask that they stand at this time. And if there are any alumni who are here, if you would please stand. Okay, at this time, I would ask that Mr. Darian Williams, the President of the Student Government Association, come forward for reading.
To President Gallo, the President's Executive Council, faculty, staff, and students of Grambling State University, good morning. Steeped in history with a long-standing legacy of tradition, service, and excellence, and exemplifying the university's motto, where everybody is somebody. I bring you greetings and acknowledge the Student Government Association and Ms. Grambling and her royal court. It truly is a privilege to stand before you in honor of this historic and momentous occasion as we celebrate the 116 years of the founding, determination, and accomplishments of Grambling State University. In 1901, the Colored Industrial and Agricultural School emerged from the desire of African American farmers in rural northern Louisiana to educate their children and inspire them to pursue a better life. Now, 116 years later, we celebrate the vision of our founder, Charles P. Adams, to help people pursue our dreams of obtaining a college education with today's Founders Day convocation. Let us reflect on the past, rejoice in what God has done, and ask His blessings for the years to come. Thank you all. I hope you all enjoy the program.
Before Ms. Grambling comes up to give us remarks, if we could kill those two lights up in the balcony and turn the house lights back up, please. Because my hand signals weren't good enough. If you could turn those two off in the balcony and turn the house lights back up, please. Thank you.
President Gallo, members of the dais, to our keynote speaker, Dr. Stephanie Miles Richardson, members of the Founders Day Committee, Grambling State University faculty, staff, students, and alumnus, good morning. I am Jamitra Robinson, a senior biology pre-med major from Arcadia, Louisiana, and I am proud to bring you greetings on this occasion for the 116th year of the founding of our prestigious university, Grambling State University. As I previously stated, I am from Arcadia, which is only about 10 miles west of here. I grew up with knowledge of Grambling, its contributions to this area, our state, our nation, and the entire world. Some of my favorite teachers and even my family members were Gramblingites, and I knew at an early age that Grambling was a place for me after high school. Grambling State University has been a beacon of light for tens of thousands of individuals who, like me, wanted to continue their education to become the best that we can be. Therefore, I understand that we who are students today stand on the shoulders of many legends who have gone before us, starting with our great founder, Dr. Charles P. Adams. They have made it possible for our university to be here 116 years after its founding. I am grateful to all of the presidents, administrators, faculty, and staff who have been a part of this journey. Despite the many challenges, they never surrendered the fight, but have continued their vision and their work. With the theme of this Founders Week in mind, Grambling State University 2017, the dawn of a new era, we have this amazing opportunity to make our contribution by striving for success in the classroom, settling for nothing less than excellence, and using our talents and energy to mentor those who need a little extra guidance. We have the opportunity to pull them through to the finish line so that we can cultivate future generations of students who will go on to be successful professionals, loyal and dedicated to continuing our tradition of service and support for our venerable university. On behalf of the student body, we thank Dr. Adams for giving us this great university that we all revere. And thank you, President Gallo, for your leadership at this crucial time in our our university's history. With your inspired vision, we are ready to begin our new era to go from good to great, while continuing to display our long-standing legacy of tradition, service, and excellence.
As my pastor always says, who's in the back? Whoever's got control over the lights, if you can put the house lights back up and turn the spotlights down, please. Our speaker for today and I were classmates from nursery school through college, right here on the campus of Grambling State University. She is a 1984 graduate of the lab schools and received her undergraduate degree in biology in 1988, right here at Grambling State University. Dr. Stephanie Miles Richardson completed her Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree in 1992 at Tuskegee University. She received a postdoctoral fellowship from the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences to pursue a dual PhD in pathology and environmental toxicology at Michigan State University. As a commissioned officer in the United States Public Health Service, Dr. Miles Richardson worked at the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry in several capacities. She completed her federal service as the Associate Director for Minority Health and Health Disparities Policy in the Office of the Director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. She joined the Department of Community Health and Preventive Medicine at Morehouse College of Medicine in 2008 and currently serves as the Assistant Dean of Graduate Education in Public Health and Masters of Public Health Program Director. On a personal note, let me say that my classmate, Stephanie, is one of the smartest people I've ever known. She's always been focused and high achieving while maintaining a fun and common touch. She has always exhibited the ability to self-motivate and to motivate those around her, no matter what the task at hand. My friend, since we were 3 or 4 years old, is aptly described in Proverbs 31:10-31 as a virtuous friend. Dr. Stephanie Miles Richardson is an initiate of the Alpha Theta chapter of Kappa Alpha sorority, and her husband, Vernell, who is also a GSU alum and initiate of the Gamma Psi chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. Together they have 3 children, Brandon, who is also a GSU alum and faculty member here in Mass Communications, Dara, who is a Southpaw Honor Student here at GSU, an outstanding member of the President's Studentship Leadership Initiative, and Bryce. Stephanie's parents, Dr. and Mrs. Miles, still reside here in Grambling. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming my classmate, our speaker for Founders Day, Grambling's very own Dr. Stephanie Miles Richardson.
To be here. The president has asked, and I'm going to reiterate, if we can kill that light, because I need to be able to see the students, and I can't really see them with that big bright light on. As President Gallo said, I'm from Grambling. I am Grambling. You look in a dictionary, you're going to find a picture of me. And listen, one has to achieve some measure of success to even be considered to come back home to speak. And so I have to take a moment, the president has started for me, but I have to take a moment to recognize and to thank my family, my team, my mentors, my advisory committee, my ride or die. I see you over there. Those who poured into my life in one way or another, and those to whom I remain grateful for their respective roles in my life, in my achievements, and in my success, for it is indeed collective. If my parents could stand, Dr. and Mrs. Benny Miles. My dad is retired professor of biology and chair of biology Thank you, parents. My brother Benjamin, please, is Benjamin here? Where's Benjamin? Stand up. My brother is also an alum of Grambling, having received his undergraduate and master's degrees from here. I'd like to recognize my husband, Burnell Richardson Jr., an alum of Grambling. My eldest son, Brandon, also known, I understand, as Mr. Richardson. Mr. Richardson teaches in mass communication. He brings a wealth of experience from the music industry here. Our daughter, Dara Richardson. There's a sophomore biology major, very active on campus. And our youngest son, Bryce, who is currently pretty deep into Pokemon, but he is Grambling bound. In fact, she's asked me several times, when do I get to go to Grambling? And so I tell him, soon enough, son, soon enough. I'd like to recognize my in-laws. I know my mother-in-law, Evelyn Richardson, is here, and my father-in-law, Burnell Richardson. Stand up, Mama, you here somewhere now. She's also a Grambling alum. And also, she's traveling today. I'd like to recognize my godmom, Valina Lane, also a GSU alum and former member of the Tiger Marching Band. And my children's godmom, Susan Wiley, a GSU alum who continues to give back each and every day right here in town. Now, the town of Grambling, where I grew up, was like one big family. Students are no doubt familiar with the hashtag Gram Family. Matter of fact, I think I see some students with the hashtag now. Hashtag Gram Fam. Y'all have hashtag Gram Fam? I'm looking at some people on the phone. I see you. So you know hashtag Gram Fam. Well, let me tell you, because I don't want y'all to miss this. There's a group of folks who might be considered back in the day Gram Fam. In fact, we are referred to as hashtag original Gram Fam. So please stand if you are of the original Gram Fam. We went to high school, college, you're from the town. Please stand and be recognized or wave your hand. Thank you, Mr. President, as for indulging me as I demonstrate to the students, listen students, that I and my family and my posse and my peeps bleed black and gold. And so I cannot come home and not acknowledge home, for I know for which I've come. But let me shift gears to the purpose for which I am here. And that is to impart some encouraging words to Grambling State University students at this Founders Day convocation, which celebrates the 116th year of GSU. Now, let me just say this, faculty, please. When we finish this convocation, I know that there's a schedule that was made for today. So when we finish, students are going back to class. Students, I'm gonna give you 4 points, and you're gonna have a test when you go back to class, okay? So y'all might wanna listen. Faculty, work with me on that. 4 points. Now, listen, it's important, students. When I examine this theme closely, Grambling State University 2017, the dawn of a new era. When I look at that closely, I realize that it is in fact a charge to students. A theme is often passive. It's something you say or maybe you believe, but a charge is something you must do. Now, Webster defines era as a memorable or important date or event, especially one that begins a new period in the history of a person or thing. This definition suggests that there is some history at Grambling State University which suggests students that something happened before you arrived. Marcus Garvey once said, a people without knowledge of their history is like a tree without roots. So let me tell you a little bit about your history, and you're going to have a history exam. Okay? You have come to an institution founded by Charles P. Adams in 1908 as the Negro named the Negro Normal Institute, later named Grambling College, and ultimately the Grambling State University that we know today. It is said that the city of Grambling was carved from portions of several plantations through the efforts of many former slaves and their children. This institution sits in the first incorporated black municipality in the state of Louisiana. To be sure, the history of Grambling State University is the story of a village, Grambling, that raised a university now known as GSU. For years, this institution, where everybody is somebody, has had a rich legacy upon which to build. It is important to examine this legacy, because if you are the new era, there had to be an era before you showed up. Now, you probably know about Paul Tanks Younger, the first African American from a black college to play in the National Football League, and countless other football players who started at GSU only to become players in the NFL. And surely you know about the legendary GSU coach Eddie Robinson, the winningest football coach in history. And you may even know about Conrad Hutchinson Jr., the Grambling legend in American college band performance. And you probably know that GSU band was the first band to play in the Super Bowl. But what about the mayor of Grambling, the mayor of Shreveport, and the vice mayor of Cincinnati, alum of Grambling State University? Elementary school principal, middle school principal, high school principal, executive director of a learning academy, alum of Grambling State University, attorney, pastor, professor, PhD scientist, alum of Grambling State University, physician, oral surgeon, dentist, veterinarian, podiatrist, nurse, physical therapist, medical technologist, alum of Grambling State University, vice president of a national financial institution, vice president at Apple, chief administrative officer of a major corporation, president and CEO, alum of Grambling State University, system engineer at Boeing, data security senior analyst at a major medical center, computer analyst who transmits critical labs at the largest trauma center in the Southeast, all alum of Grambling State University. Congressional staffer, Louisiana State Legislator, Democratic member of the Ohio House of Representatives, National Director of State and Local Development for the Republican National Convention, alum of Grambling State University. Singer, songwriter, producer, author, poet, actor, actress, New York Times op-ed columnist, alum of Grambling State University. Dallas's first female police chief, first African American owner of a Rolls-Royce franchise, the warden of Louisiana State Penitentiary, lieutenant colonel and command pilot of the United States Air Force, alum of Grambling State University. University past presidents, deans, provosts, and president of GSU, all alum of Grambling State University. Now listen, the word era suggests there was a prior era, and as you can hear, oh, but there has been. The supposition is that the dawn is happening with you, and that you are the ones who will take this institution into the new era. I want to make sure you're clear, students, but when I examine the history of Grambling and of GSU, and when I review the legacy of this institution, a theme that references a new era suggests something big is about to happen here at GSU. So let's make sure you're ready. Here's your test. Y'all listen? I want to share with you 4 points. And I submit to you that these 4 points will be of value to you as you matriculate at GSU and as you move on to what it is that you are called to do to contribute to our rich legacy. Point number 1, figure out where you are going. Have you ever heard the saying, if your mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, then you can achieve it? Prior to joining faculty at Morehouse School of Medicine, I worked at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta for over a decade. I recall visiting home not long after I began working at CDC, and I was visiting with my childhood friend Susan, whom you all know as Mrs. Wiley. I recall that Susan said, "Steph, I always knew you were going to be at the CDC." And I asked Susan, how do you know that? How is that something you can say? Susan may not remember this, but she told me at that time, she said, because you said so. Now let's go back to that saying, if the mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, then you can achieve it. I didn't understand then what I know now, but that was visioning. To figure out where you're going, you have to see it. To see it is to have vision. And to see where you are in the future presupposes that you are here on purpose. That is, you are not a random event, an accident, a cellular clod that happens to be living and sucking up air today, but you were here for a purpose. So you must begin with that premise, that there is some purpose for which you're here on earth. Once you make that assumption, then you have to sit quietly. You have to turn off your iPhone, silence the music, sit by a tree, watch a squirrel go by, and see your future. Students, I have an assignment for you. I want you to do this exercise. Faculty, help me with this. They need to report on this. It is the year 2037. I am. Fill in the blanks. First person, write what you see in your mind's eye. What you feel, not what you know now. Write what you know in the year 2037. And yes, where are my math majors? Raise your hand if you're a math major. I got a whole one over there. Okay, so math major, check me out on this. That is, I'm asking you to go out 2 decades, 20 years, and 7,300 days. Sounds like a long time, but in the year 2037, call me, text me, FaceTime me, and tell me how short it was. So point number one, first thing you must do to be successful is you have to figure out where you're going. Point number two, now that you know where you're going, program your GPS. Smartphones have built-in global positioning systems. We often call them navigation systems or simply a GPS. The way you use a GPS is by programming where you are headed. You see, the GPS already knows where you are, but it has no way of knowing where you are headed unless you tell it. See, the GPS assumes that you have already mastered point number one. The GPS gives you help along the way to ensure that you get from where you are currently to where you're headed in the future. It uses satellites up high and perhaps input from other drivers in front of you to steer you in the right direction so that you reach your destination. Your GPS stands for goals and people who provide you support. Goals and people who provide you support. Let's talk about goals for a moment. You must have goals that move you toward your destination. Now, goals have to be aligned with point number one. You have to first have a vision. And let me tell you something important about goals. They have to be smart, they have to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and they must be time-bound. For goals and objectives that are not time-bound are simply a dream. The second aspect of your GPS is people. You must develop an advisory committee of sorts that consists of a number of people who have many roles. Your committee consists of family members who know you well and who have your best interests at heart. These may be people who send you care packages and who make sure you have enough ramen noodles to hold you over to your refund check. Your committee consists of advisors who can tell you which way to go to reach your goals and objectives, and mentors who will customize their advice based on their knowledge of who you are, where you're headed, and why you're headed there. And finally, and importantly, your committee should consist of friends. But let me tell you a little bit about friends. Now, I'm going to get in trouble for sharing this, but I'll deal with that later. I recall when my daughter was about 6 or 7. I'd come home from working at the CDC. She was outside playing, and she looked a little upset. And so I asked her what the problem was, and she told me that the little girl up the street took her whammy. So without missing a beat, I turned into Mama Bear. I marched with my daughter up the street, rang the doorbell, and asked the child that answered the door to give me the adult in charge. And so I proceeded to get my daughter's stuff, the wagon, a helmet, several things. And so as Darren and I were walking back down the street, I noticed she was crying. And I stopped and said, why are you crying? That little girl is not your friend. You see, friends have friend behavior. I said, that little girl at best is a playmate. You can play, she's going to steal your stuff. She is not a friend, so do not cry as if she is. So listen, students, when you put friends on your advisory committee, make sure they are not just people who friend you on Facebook. You see, that's a verb. The word friend is actually a noun. Where are my English majors? Raise your hand if you're English. Well, my English language, I don't know. What are y'all majoring in? Friends have some characteristics. Listen, friends have some characteristics. They're with you through thick and thin, good and bad. They stick to you as a brother or sister would. I'm talking about your ride or die. Friends have a role on your committee because they keep you accountable. And like my friend Susan, they remind you of your destiny when perhaps you have forgotten. Friends who demonstrate friend behavior, my single English major that is using the word as an adjective to describe behavior, are a key element of your GPS because they keep you on track to where you're headed. So point number 2 is program your what? GPS, all right. Point number 3, manage your brand. Are there any Coke drinkers, Coca-Cola drinkers in the building? Raise your hand if you love a crisp, cold Coca-Cola. Okay, that's some Coke drinkers. Now, if I were to show you a bottle or can of Coke, you would know exactly what to expect. If I were to fill that bottle, listen, students, this is important. If I were to fill that bottle with an imposter, like RC Cola or some other brown drink, you would instantly know that you had been fooled, for you know the look and the taste of an authentic Coke. Your brand is your reputation. You must determine what it is and manage it. Whether you choose to manage it or not, you still have a reputation. You still have a brand. Part of managing your brand is to discover your superpower. Everybody has one. It's that thing that comes naturally to you. Nobody does it quite like you do. It can be used for good or evil. To uncover your superpower, you must know your strengths and weaknesses, for only then can you manage yourself. I recall when I was at CDC, my supervisor approached me toward the end of the day. It was about 4:30 or so. He had a project that he asked me to do. He said it was not a big deal, I could handle it. And so just before 5, as most folk were leaving, I was looking at the project to understand what I'd been asked. And what I learned, and he was gone, what I learned is that it required me to present a detailed proposal judged on its scientific merit as to whether the proposal would be funded by CDC. And it was to be presented at a hearing the next morning at 8 a.m. sharp at an off-site location. I'd been set up. Now, I could have been angry and not done the project. I was well within my right to do so. Nevertheless, I worked on the project that night between handling my family obligations. I stayed up very, very late after everyone else had gone to bed to finish studying the proposal and preparing my presentation notes. And I showed up at 8 a.m. sharp the next day, off-site location, longer commute, to defend the proposal. When I returned to my office the following day, I went straight to my supervisor. And I told him I'd completed the proposal, I'd successfully defended it. However, I told him very kindly, kindness is important, that I did not understand nor did I appreciate being set up. He told me something I never shall forget. He said, everybody has a go-to person. He told me that I was his go-to person, that I was in fact the only person in our division that he could count on. And by the way, I was his most recent hire. It turns out that several others had dropped the ball on this proposal, and it was in a critical, time-sensitive state. Ultimately, I was the person, the only person elevated from his division to the office of the director for the agency, to whom he ultimately had to report. You see, not only did my immediate supervisor see my brand, but the director saw it too. The elevated position that I accepted was not posted for all to apply. I was called directly. My brand, my reputation had been apparent for all to see. Now I'm talking to the right side over here, because they got a lot to say over here. So I want y'all to hear this because it's important. You're probably saying, that's all fine and good, Dr. Miles Richardson, I don't have a job. I'm a student. So you still have to manage your brand. Let's say you want a top-notch brand of reputation. You show up in class You sit in the front. You pay attention to the teacher, do your homework, study well, and do well on your exams. You exercise principles of integrity, kindness, and accountability. You do your work anyway, regardless of extenuating circumstances. You recognize that excuses are tools of incompetence. You don't make them. You carry yourself as a successful student does, covered appropriately, and perhaps even dressed for your future, clad in attire fit for somebody headed somewhere big. In short, students, you handle your business. But let's say that's not your thing. You're not interested. You prefer to skip class. You don't do your homework. You talk or text, or simply zone out while the teacher or speaker is talking. You find wonderful excuses to be absent, late, confused, unaware. Let's say you like to show people what you got. So you dress as scantily as possible, because surely you don't want the brand of being appropriate, professional, and going somewhere. You prefer to look, act, and dress as if you are not. Here's the thing, your brand is your decision. If you don't manage it, it will manage you. People see you, opportunities come your way or not, based on the data you provide. And please remember that your peers see you too. Many will be in positions of authority and influence. They will remember your actions, for your actions determine your agenda. And be especially careful of your online brand. Google yourself periodically. You may wish to do advanced education beyond your undergrad degree. Your schools and programs will Google you. You may wish to be employed one day. Your potential employers, they're gonna Google you. You may decide that you will be self-employed and this does not apply to you. Your clients will Google you. Remember, anything posted on social media remains discoverable. Ensure that what you're posting now is something you want to be discovered in the year 2037. Short-term postings can be captured too. Be very careful of what cannot be undone. So point number 3 is to manage your what? Brand. Very good. All right, final point. Point number 4. Play hard, but work harder. Now, when I was in college, I had fun. I went to football games, basketball games. My husband and I supported our friends who played track. I hung out with friends. I pledged, AKA, where's Alpha Theta? Alpha Theta's in the house. All right. My husband pledged Kappa. We did not miss a Bayou Classic game. We went to the Battle of the Bands. We attended step shows. We had a blast. So you may have heard the phrase, work hard, play hard. I don't believe that one. So get rid of that one. The reason for that is it suggests equal measure. Not true. Successful people actually do work harder. They read more, they study more, they devote more time to being successful. Successful people are not mediocre. They go beyond. I teach graduate students at Morehouse School of Medicine and undergraduate students in a public health summer program sponsored by CDC at Morehouse College, and I'm always surprised when I hear students who describe a future that they are not creating. For example, someone will tell me that they want to have lots of fun, they want to drive a really expensive car, they want to travel the world and do all of these wonderful things, while not doing too much more in terms of work input. They don't show up for class, they don't do their work, they turn it in late, yet they seem to believe the world is somehow waiting to shower them with a life of grandeur. I also hear people talk about luck, as if luck is some magic phenomenon that just happens. There's a saying, luck is when opportunity meets preparation. And so the key is preparation. And preparation takes work. So point number 4, work hard, play hard, work harder. So as I prepare to take my seat, we're gonna recap, because this is a school day. I know there's an altered schedule, but you still have school today, and the faculty have assured me they will test you on these 4 points. So let's recap. What you identify in point number 1, your vision, will dictate how much preparation and how much work it takes to get to the future you see. As you program your GPS, point number 2, identifying your goals, your people or advisory committee who will support you. You'll be equipped to navigate through and supported to reach your destination. The brand you establish, point number 3, will propel you forward or pull you backward. It's up to you. And finally, as you move forward to achieve success, remember point number 4, exhale, do have some fun. Just remember to play hard, but work hard. Grambling State University is a great place to be at now, and an even better place to be from in the future that you create. Truly, this is the dawn of a new era. To be sure, as a GSU student and a future alum, you can achieve all that you conceive. All that I accomplished started right here on this campus. My personal motto, don't tell me what I can't do. I came from GSU. Thank you.
Would not disappoint. Grambling State University Award of Appreciation presented to Dr. Stephanie Miles Richardson, DNB, PhD, for outstanding service rendered as 2017 Founders Day Convocation Speaker, September 26, 2017, signed by me, President. I'd like to thank everyone for being a part of the Founders Day Convocation today. I'd like to acknowledge and thank the members of the Founders Week Committee. If you would stand, including my mother, Billy Gallo, the historian here. All would stand. And Dr. Richardson has already given a shout out to Alpha Theta. I'd ask for members of our graduating high school class, class of 1984, as well as any of our instructors who may be here, if you would stand, please. I would also like to acknowledge the family of one of our classmates, Heath Garrett Pruitt. Mr. and Mrs. Huey Pruitt and Dr. Rhonda Pruitt, would you please stand? And yes, our friend and classmate and fellow percussionist passed away on July 6, 1985. At the time of his passing, Heath was a student here at Grambling State University pursuing his degree in elementary education. He aspired to become an elementary school principal. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Pruitt and Dr. Pruitt, for being here and carrying on Keith's memory. Thank you. I would now like to bring up Ms. Donna McGee, who has a special presentation with our art project for Founders.
say a few words about the project. I was asked to be in charge of getting